Spinning.
We're live! What's going on, Dr. Art?
Oh, it's Wednesday again, sir.
It is Wednesday. Prince Spaghetti Day. I used to get, you see, you're too young for that, right? You remember? See, yeah. So there was a commercial. There's a company called Prince Spaghetti. Okay, this is back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And their commercial was just like, old Italian lady, and she's up in the apartment, and she's like making this big vat of spaghetti. And then she leans out the window and she goes, "Anthony, it's Prince Spaghetti time." And I was haunted by that when I was a kid.
Anthony.
Yeah.
It's a stupendous Wednesday because it's the freaking heat finally broke.
Yes, it's nice out.
It's nice.
But now we've got a hurricane, whoever, on its way up to mess up our day.
Hurricane, I think it was Kamala or something.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's on its way to us.
It's going to make a mess of everything.
So no track. I cut the back half of the exhaust system off on the XJ.
Oh, from the glass pack back?
Yeah, sounds like a bomb. Oh my god! Because I was looking at it. You know what happened? I got that chrome exhaust tip. Well, you didn't see the video I did yesterday, right?
No, I didn't see it.
I got that chrome exhaust tip. I was like, oh, it looks so good on the XJ, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the same diameter as the muffler.
Okay.
Right? But I went to put it on the tailpipe.
It was too big?
It's too big. I'm like, oh my god, the exhaust steps down after the muffler. I can't have that. Out comes the sawzall.
So now it's just
a cherry bomb hanging.
Oh, you didn't take a piece of that goes over the axle and shove it up the side or anything?
No, just a goddamn cherry bomb. Oh my god! You thought it sounded good before. You have no idea. You have no idea. Hello, everybody. Look, we're ignoring our people here.
Our guests. We got a whole crap load of people.
Yes, Mexican Spaghetti is zero. When zero is here, we know we're okay.
Good.
That's it.
Yes.
That's all you need. Mexican Spec, I said that already, didn't I?
Yeah.
Abel D, fun with cars. Yes, 6th Street Garage. That's a new name one.
Yeah.
Okay, he's starting to storm down there.
Rocco, Chungo,
Fubar.
Fubar is
the
here.
other one.
Oh.
Right, that's like the third leg of the chair.
Yeah,
you know
we're not tipping over anymore. We're
not tipping over.
We're very stable.
I'm never stable. I play stable on YouTube. I look a lot more together on YouTube than I am in real life. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. Okay with that. Charlton Zimmerman says this is exciting as a potato up the tailpipe.
No, it's a banana in the tailpipe, man. You're not supposed to fool for that.
It just spit the banana right out. Wouldn't it just?
There's a lot of bananas.
Oh, yeah. You stick many bananas.
Yeah.
Tony, you're not fooling anyone. I didn't think I was. But it's okay. 72Z28 drove his XJ today. Got a DRB tool and programmed some key fobs. Chirp, chirp. I don't even know what that is.
It's so you can have keyless entry.
Oh, on an XJ?
Yeah.
Why? Just don't lock the door.
Because he maybe he lives in a bad neighborhood. I don't know.
Not only do I never lock the doors, I never take the keys out of anything. If anybody wants to steal any of my stuff, just open the door, look on the floor, the keys are, because I'd rather have it stolen than ever have to look for the key.
Look for keys.
Yep.
We can go back. JK on tons. Putting a motorhome 440 and 727 in a 1989 W250. Nice. The 440 ran and drove in the motorhome. What's the bare minimum would take before dropping it in? Cam heads, intake, new gaskets, etc. That's your show.
I wouldn't do anything internally. I'm nothing. I mean, headers, yeah. But motorhome 440. Okay, well, here's the thing, right? You say it's a motorhome 440, right? But is it a true motorhome 440 or is it a 440 that ended up on motorhome? Because it's two different ones. So here's the situation. If your 440 has the peanut plugs, okay, like 5/8 plugs like a Chevy would have, then it's a true motorhome 440. And it has a unique water pump assembly. It has all kinds of craziness, right? That is not a good thing to mess around with because the only thing that's really usable in a car or high performance application is the short block. Everything from the head gaskets up is, no bueno. Now, if it's a regular 440, I listen. I got basically a motorhome 440 in the Charger. it's ported heads. Kathy put the thing together. Pistons turn around backwards. Small crane firewall cam. That thing rocks. It runs really,
and
really
it's a
good.
W250, so it's made for low end and
Yeah. So I would just throw a set of headers on it, right?
tune it up and let it rip.
Yeah. Abel D. Well, wait.
Where'd you go?
He's talking. Art Tony. Based on the spiral downfall of Motor Trend's YouTube talent, do you think it will affect Power Tours in the future?
Not if you're at this year's. I mean, it was
jammed.
It was jammed beyond more than it's ever been. It's become its own thing.
Yeah.
It's really not, hi, this is Motor Trend's, lispy flip-flop wearing Power Tour. It's Power Tour. It's its own animal, my opinion. But judging by the turnout you get, I mean, you wait hours to get in places. When you go years ago, yeah, it'd be a wait, but you could get in and out and you get your stamp and you go. Now it's a freaking zoo.
It was my first, and I was very impressed by it. I was very impressed by the people that were there and the variety of cars and the general atmosphere and how they raped my ass for $60 for 2 hamburgers. Literally 2 hamburgers, $60. But that's okay. That's okay. Everybody was having a good time.
Yeah.
No, it's never okay. That's not okay. I'm wounded about that.
You're still very sour.
Carrying that around with me.
You're still sour about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. No, I don't think Motor Trend's on its way out. Obviously, we get more views than Motor Trend does. That's not saying we get more views than individual that are on Motor Trend, but seriously, Motor Trend's got like 6.7 million subs, and they average. They get a lot of videos that don't even crack 20,000 views. So it's all on borrowed time. It's all on borrowed time.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers that owns Discovery has been firing people and closing divisions like there's no tomorrow. So I can't imagine it's going to stick.
It's going to go down the same thing as like Donut Media and all those places do, and Hoonigans. As soon as somebody buys it, you get too many people in charge, and it turns to shit, and you're all gone.
Guys, Mike Fredericks. Guys, Tony. Can you say how much you won and lost in a single night of New York City street racing in the late 70s? In the late 70s, I was there, but barely. It wasn't really around until the 80s, the early 80s. But no, I mean, 99% of it was just for shits and giggles, and occasionally we'd throw some money back and forth. I mean, we weren't like the shopping bags full of cash guys. We were spectators for those shopping bag full of cash guys.
And that's most of that's for drama and television anyway.
No, it was real.
It was real.
Oh, it was real. Yes, it was very real.
Yeah, I never got the money bag people. Mine was just
Yeah.
Who's buying?
I was a kid. I was in my 20s back then. You know what I'm saying? And the serious hitters were all in their 40s and 50s and 60s, and yeah, it was pretty freaking intense. But no, just small money here and there. Jimmy Luce, did you sell a lot of T-shirts Sunday night? Yes, we sold a lot of shirts.
What was? Because it just caught to end when Kathy was complaining, but then it was getting hotter. What was the gist of it?
It was oh God, it was buy one get one free, right? Plus a sticker, plus a piece of scumbag bubble gum. Like the bottom of the
that's where the bubblegum reference came from, because like I said, I got caught in the end when you're talking about chewed bubblegum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So,
but you sold a bunch of buy one get one.
Yeah, like she's been printing all the last couple of few days because
she got way over her head with that.
Nobody wanted a shirt that was in stock.
Oh, we want all the old ones and all this stuff.
Everybody wanted shirts that were in stock.
In stock. What are you wearing tonight?
What am I wearing tonight?
Oh, standing up because my piece standing up internal combustion.
Yes. The very popular shirt, which we have a lot of in stock. So, because I bought thousands of the damn things. Okay, where are we? 0, the weight of the Gearhead Monk. Yes. Yes, a short ton of shirts. And Fubar just put up the link to it, but it's not buy one, get one now. It's because she's still printing for anybody who ordered them on Sunday. She's still printing the damn things. So just be patient. She prints them well, not all of them, right? Some of them we buy in bulk. If we're going to sell a lot of shirts, we'll go and we'll have them printed. And then the other ones, we're really going to sell them sporadically. She prints those individually. Like she literally
screens them one.
Screens, yeah, exactly, right. So she's doing that right now.
Resto Guy 1, UTG, I have a 400 horsepower 3-3 stroker. What do you recommend for cam roller rocker setup? The problem keeping the hydraulic lifters.
You have a problem keeping hydraulic lifters set. Oh man,
that's more of a hardware than a rocker, isn't
it? Roller cam rocker setup. Oh, okay. Cam roller rock. Okay, so he's having a hard time keeping his hydraulic. All right. So your problem isn't with the rockers, man. It's not the rockers. It's the lifters, and they're probably the same comp lifters that I had problems with. And I'll tell you how I fixed that. I bought a set of like $90 like Chinese roller rockers and stuck them on there, right? Or I'm sorry, roller lifters. These bullshit generic roller lifters. It's solids, and the problem went away. You've probably got an issue with those lifters bleeding down or not fully pumping up. Okay, and Thunderbird 68 is saying get new rockers, studs, nuts. Okay, so he's right. So small block Chevy, you may still have do you still have the pressed in studs? Because if you still have the pressed in studs, what's happening is the stud is trying to pull out. So your professional fix of that would be to pull all the studs, tap the threads, and then put screw in studs, and then you won't have a problem with those lifting out. Or you could do it the way we used to do it back in the day and drill. You take a universal bearing cup, right? U-joint. Take one of the cups. Take out the ball, the roller bearings. Okay, drill a hole from the head into the stud, and then drop one of those rollers from the U-joint cup in there, and you fixed. You won't have another problem.
Just pin the pressing studs,
yeah. Bill McKeiska, thank you for the super chat. I thought we were supposed to get the story of Shaky and the bar fight this past Sunday night. Next Sunday night, I'll definitely tell that story. Let's see. Mopar Maniac, it's going good, Mopar Maniac. How's it going with you?
Craig Simpson.
Yes. Might get a 74 Norton Commando, hot or not. The only problem, they're beautiful bikes, okay? The Nortons have two things, right? So the first is that aesthetically, the way they lean the cylinders forward a little bit, it kind of ruins the British aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like you think Brit bike, you think like perfectly upright, twin, right? But they lean it forward a little bit, so that kind of hurts the aesthetic. And then the vibration on those bikes is crazy. The way I remember them was like whatever the speed limit is where it vibrated the most. Right? Didn't matter. It was 50 miles an hour. At 50 miles an hour, the thing was like, and you go to like 60, and it's like okay, and then 65. Like the vibration is really intense on those things. But they got great power. They sound great. You know what I mean? Go for it. Okay, Resto Guy saying the studs are good, lifters are weak. Okay. Zero saying Shaky in the bar fight. Let the record show. Should I tell that story? You want?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Either way, we're going to talk about pizza. So tell.
But this is supposed to be tech talk. This isn't tech talk.
Oh, Shaky didn't have a wrench or anything, so.
No.
All right. Well, I guess they got to tune in Sunday then, huh?
So for years, I raced on and off with Bobby Lagana.
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone funny car, and then later the Twilight Zone Top Fueler. Okay. And fuel altered. A lot of people don't know we had a fuel altered in there too.
Okay.
So help with a nitro car is hard to get unless you've got payroll, right? So in other words, you got Budweiser sponsor and you this payroll.
You got money
you can hire functional humans,
Okay.
for the most part.
Mhm.
Okay. But when you're running, a completely private operation where there's no sponsorship at all,
You get the homeless volunteers.
you get with what you deal with what you can, okay?
Right.
And it's all a bunch of like gypsies, tramps, thieves, and
Carnies and things.
alcoholics, right?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we had this one guy. I'm not gonna say his regular name. And this is over 35 years ago, so I guess it really doesn't matter.
He's probably dead, so it doesn't matter.
God forbid. He was a good guy. But he was a drinker, okay? And his name, I'm gonna say his real name, but his nickname was Shaky, because we had a rule, okay? No drinking 24 hours before we leave for a race. So we'll be gone for a day, 2 days, 3 days. Okay, you don't drink for 24 hours before.
Mm-hmm.
So what would happen is by the next day he would have the DTs, right? Yeah, exactly. So that's where you got the name Shaky.
Yeah.
Okay. You talk like this. Okay. So, but Shaky was great because no matter what you needed to do, no matter where you needed to do it, you could call Shaky. He lived in the Northeast, the far Northeast, right? Like 200 miles from the race car. But if you called him up and said, Shaky, we got to do a short block for the car now. Okay, boss, I'm right there, right? And he would jump in his car, drop whatever he was doing, and come down and work on the car, and then go back.
Oh, okay.
All right, this is what I'm saying. This guy was dedicated, so it was worth dealing with all of the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So, make a long story short, I had a couple of events to do with other cars, and I needed an assistant. All right, so I called Shaky, and I said, Shaky, we got to run up in whatever it was, Milan, Michigan. I'm wrenching this guy's car. I need a hand, right? And then we're going to run whatever it was with the other guy's car, and I'm going to need a hand there. I says, and then we got to go meet Bobby down in Steele, Alabama, for an IHRA race that we have there.
Okay.
Right. So it's going to be like 4 days.
Boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom. Right. Shaky is right there. Okay. So we do this event. We do that event, and I'm feeding them and stuff like that. I'm keeping them happy, right? But I'm keeping them dry. Okay. So we go down. We do those races, and we go down to Steele, Alabama, right? And we don't qualify. All right. So it's Saturday night. And we didn't qualify. But I'm like, well, Shaky,
work's over.
Work's over, bro. What do you I owe you. What do you want? Well, let's go hit a bar, right? All right. What bar do you want to hit?
She says, the next one.
Wait. She says, I hear you guys talking about these wild times you have in these bars. You know what I always wanted to do? I said, what, Shaky? What do you want to do? Now, Shaky's he's a scrawny guy, okay? I want to have a bar fight. I said, you want to have a what? He says, oh, I want to have a bar fight. I want to be able to tell that kind of story when I get older. I says, you are old. I said, I want to do this. I said, all right, Shaky, you want a bar fight? We're going to get you a bar fight. Okay? Because, listen, he paid his dues. Whatever
you
guy wants.
Yeah.
Okay? So we hit a bar. Everything's like all mellow and shit like that, right? He downs them. He's downing them, okay? And we go to the next place. He's downing them. He's downing them. I'm like, I don't want to fight in a bar. I'm just going to go pick a bar fight, okay? That's ridiculous. So I need cigarettes. So we walk across the street from this bar, okay? And now Shaky's kind of lit, all right?
Mm-hmm.
He's feeling normal. So I buy the cigarettes, and I ask the girl behind the counter. I says, listen, my friend here is he's looking for trouble. She says, what does that mean? I says, he just wants trouble. I says, is there a bar around here in this area, that's just like the kind of place where, trouble happens? She goes, I got just the place for you. I says, all right.
Cool.
Right? And I'm saying to myself, I can't believe I'm actually looking to get myself involved in a bar fight. But I owe Shaky, okay?
Right.
So she says, go down the road about 3 miles, whatever it was, make a left, go until you can't go anymore, make a right, and you'll see a little red light on a white cinder block building. And it's just a little, so, okay, we're going to shake, I got your bar fight. Let's go, all right? So he's this was so typical, right? So we drive down, we go to the road, we make the left, and I'm cruising along, and there's this white building, a white cinder block building with no windows and a red bulb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the place, Shaky. Come on, let's go, right? Says, you want it, you're gonna get it. So we get out of the car and we walk over to the door. It's just a steel door, like an industrial door, no windows or anything like that. And I open the door and I'm like, Shaky, go ahead, you go first. I says, you do what you want, and I got your back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go in there and start no fucking fights, right? You go in there, and I got your back, whatever happens. I open the door. Shaky walks inside. I walk inside behind him, and I'm looking around. I'm like, something's weird here, okay? It's like a karaoke bar. And it's like very odd because there isn't a single female in the place. not a single one. Just some guy up on the stage singing a Cowboys song, and like these other guys not wearing shirts around. And I'm like, Shaky, we're in the wrong place. I don't care. I came this distance. I will fight. No, Shaky, you don't understand.
Read the room, brother.
So I dragged him out of there, and that was Shaky in the bar fight.
Oh, so
that was it. I mean,
there was no prison, there was no cops?
No, there's no prison, there was no cops. But the moral of the story is you don't go looking for trouble in the middle of the woods in Alabama. Because you'll find...
You'll find a whole new way of life out there in Alabama.
How many people did we lose here? I bet you everybody went away while I was telling that
we got
story.
170 people online, so it'd be nice if they gave 170 thumbs for that story. I mean, but
right. Yeah, we didn't know it was a karaoke place. It was a gay karaoke bar. You had to be there. You had to be there. We're someplace in northern Michigan. I think it was a little track, little out of the way track. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we finished up late. It was a match race with a funny car, right? So we finish up late. It's like 12 o'clock, and Shaky wants to go to the bar. So obviously, Shaky wants to go to the bar. I got to take care of Shaky because right? So we go to the bar, and that was like 1:45 in the morning, right? So Shaky sits down, orders. Okay,
he's gonna catch up.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm drinking one beer. Okay, and Shaky's just shots and beers and everything else. And the waitress comes up. She says, "Okay, this is the last call, guys." So Shaky panics. So, what do you mean it's last call? We just got here, right? I said, Shaky, it's the last call. That's crazy. It's only 1 o'clock in the morning. Right? Whoa. So the waitress goes, well, if you hurry up, there's the town next town over. It's 5 miles away, a different county, and their last call was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
Well, I'm talking to her, and in the meantime, the seat is empty next to me. Shaky heard this.
He's gone.
He got up out of his seat and started running down the road.
To the next county.
I go out to the car, right? And I pull it into the road, and there's Shaky running down the freaking road. You can't make this stuff up. These people were nuts. It was a crazy time. Pick
up Shaky, put him in the car, take him to the next county.
Yep. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead. Thank you, Shaky. You had to be there. It was nutty. Shaky's just one of the characters. There was a guy that I raced with in the Midwest. Okay, I won't mention his name or the car. He was addicted to Peeps.
The marshmallow thing?
The marshmallow things. And there was stale Peeps. Okay. No, I'm not making this up. Okay. I'm not making this up. You can't make this up. Okay. In the back of his truck, he had like a cooler, okay? And in the cooler was packed with Peeps, okay? And all of the packages would be partially opened because he would age the Peeps.
Get them a little crust on.
Yeah, exactly. And he would rotate them. And he lived on Peeps. This was the thing that kept him.
Just a Peep diet.
Oh, well, he would eat meat and stuff like that also, but on the road, like, you're driving on the road. That's it.
Just
Peeps, constantly eating Peeps, and they had to be stale. They had to be a certain certain stage of stale. Oliver's saying stale Peeps are better. You know this, Oliver.
Okay.
What the heck are Peeps? Those Easter. It's a
marshmallow little chickens that are pink and yellow.
Yeah. Fun with cars. My dad also loves them stale. Okay, so I guess it's not that crazy.
Stale Peeps thing, yeah.
Carnitas, what's your opinion on the Holley Retro Bright headlights? How would you improve the brightness on a 72B body? I actually just put headlights in Scribbles Dakota today, but I just stick with the stock stuff. Whatever the stock stuff is what I. What are you? You're into seeing things at night.
Well, I need all the help I can get seeing things at night. More lights, the better. But the old car, if they got like the Holleys, it's basically it looks like a thing, but it's got a replaceable H4, bulb in it. So whatever LED or whatever bulb you can stick in it makes it brighter. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
But the Holley ones are like $200 a whack. So if you got 4 headlights, you're out $800 for a headlight. No, you might as well buy a light bar at that point and just be better off. Or if it's that bad, just don't drive at night.
Let's see. Rocco's saying I've seen people put Peep in the bottom of their coffee cup. Oh, jeez, I had no idea.
No.
Granddad's Junk. Hey, Doc, what happened to Monday Night Live?
There was unforeseen circumstances this Monday.
Oh, no.
So.
You weren't killed or anything, were you?
I was.
He accidentally got killed.
I accidentally got killed and came back.
Yeah.
Got this new shirt when I came back that are available on the website.
Yes. Big Richard shirt.
Yeah. And it's, lovely, lovely, lovely. And I know you're opposed to characterizations on T-shirts of your vehicles, but that's okay.
Well, that's me. That's not
right.
Just because I feel a certain way about things doesn't mean everybody else should.
Like 12 people bought this shirt, so it was a screaming success over the other merchandise.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Rookie Mechanic in 1869. What is your opinion on stock small block shape for bracket racing? Would it be consistent? Yeah.
Yeah. The stock would probably be more consistent than one that's.
Yeah, if you got a bracket race.
Yeah.
Chris Freemaster says the guy that invented Peeps passed away not that long ago. Interesting. I'm sorry he's gone.
Yeah. He was probably living in Florida, had a nice house. He was rolling in it, probably.
Buddy Carfano says the Holley retro lights make major difference. Okay, cool.
For the money, they should. Yeah. Mark Sauve. Tony, any hands-on with a 2012 5.7 Hemi might be looking at a car with a blown head gasket.
I have no practical experience with them.
Yeah, they just they'll eat lifters and they do pitch head gaskets, especially if they're boosted. So, but it's a possibility. Just check it like you would anything else.
Zero is offering very good advice. When getting killed, it's important to remember to just walk it off. And he's right. He's absolutely right. If you can, walk it off.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Gonzalez, thank you for the super chat. Is there an EMP kit available for cars that can be used on annoying drivers? I'm also going to help a distracted driver. An electromagnetic pulse device. Let me tell you, I do not know how such a thing doesn't exist yet.
There's people that have, and I've seen this firsthand, and they sell these, and people actually are sucker enough to buy them. It's a little box that you wire into your car and put under the hood. It's supposed to protect the car from EMP blasts. lists. I'm like,
I couldn't see that happening.
I'm like, what?
But what's to stop somebody from wiring together a bunch of capacitors and just shutting off cars as they can drive along?
I'm sure it's been done.
But why isn't that like a regular thing? Is what I want to know.
Because it's so much fun, nobody wants to share that secret.
Ah, okay.
Like, you think the government and the cops don't have it? Come on.
Let's see. Mopar Mini, how much difference did the upswept exhaust manifold? It's like 3 horsepower is like what I recall seeing, like 3 or 4 horsepower. It's not a major difference.
If they're only asking for $1,000, this was, we got to go back up a little bit. Mark Sauvé, if they're only asking for $1,000, the car with a blown head gasket, that's worth it because that engine's easy to put head gaskets on. The worst part's getting the exhaust manifolds off.
If the car's clean.
Yeah.
If the car is clean, that's the thing.
Yeah, you got clean and title, just needs a head gasket, buy it.
Fun with Cars is saying, my son said they did an EMP test on modern cars and 87% were unaffected. Yeah, but the 13% that are affected could cause some crazy havoc.
Clayton's Toolbox, we talked about this a little bit before, but for racing, air cleaner or no air cleaner, velocity stacks, ram air, what are your preferences?
No air cleaner, but definitely at least an air cleaner base. In lieu of an air cleaner base, a short velocity stack, definitely like a stub stack. You need something to clean the air as it's going over the top of the carburetor, right? Not even clean it, just make sure
direct
that
its flow.
Well, a velocity stack will help direct the flow. But what's happening is you got all the air that's coming through the, let's say in a regular car, okay? You got all of the air that's coming through the grill and past the radiator and up underneath. There's all kinds of chaos going around under airflow under a hood. So you want something to isolate the top of the carburetor from that turbulent air that's always changing. You see what I'm saying? And like an air cleaner base will do that, but a velocity stack will do it. A stub stack will do it. But an air filter, no, I've never.
How about Chris? Hi, Uncle Tony, Dr. Art. What's a good head for a 400 Mopar?
Oh, the 906s or the 452s, any of them are fine. They're all good. If you can find the 67 440 head, that'd be the best. But yeah, seriously, 906s are cheap and plentiful. Let's see. Scott Martinelli. I am breaking in fresh rings, lifters, and cam in my flat tap at 350. Can I use non-detergent oil and put the zinc additive in? Yes. Is non-detergent better than conventional for breaking in? No. Yes, Rocco, 915s, the 67. I usually don't say 915s because there is a confusion because there's also the small block 915. So I just say 67 440. Mendero amplification. Have you ever made a video about doing a basic wheel alignment in your garage? You've done that, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done that.
Yes, he has done that. And I just watch his video and follow whatever he says.
2 strings and 2 rulers and 2 bars, and yeah, you get it close enough, it goes down the road straight. And the big thing is, if you do your alignment at home, all right, you get it to where you think it's close. What you do is you push the cart in the garage forward about 10, 15, 20 feet, and then back 10, 15, 20 feet. If the tires don't go, and it pushes easily, well, then you did a good job. If the tires are squealing and making noise, it's still off.
I do them all by feel.
Just kind of.
I mean, this is the wrong way to do it. Don't do it the way I'm telling you that I do it because it's just silly, okay? but it's the way that I've always done it. It just works. Okay, for me, what I do is I eyeball everything the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm talking about toe. I'm talking about toe, right? I eyeball. I get them to where they're just about okay, and then what I do is I leave the adjusters loose on the collars, and I get in the car and I drive it, right, and then I make changes as necessary. So it's like if it goes straight, but it doesn't want to center itself, I go out to each of the collars and I'll go half turn in, bring it in a little bit, drive it, see how it reacts. If it pulls one way or the other, I'll go quarter turn one side, then drive it. And if it needs a little more, go another quarter turn. And it takes me about 20 minutes or so of screwing around to get the alignment to where it feels right. And it's just the way I've always done it. And I think it comes from when I was younger. I would try to do strings and you know, get it, and it still didn't feel right for whatever reason. So it's like, all right, well, let's just
make it feel right.
Make it feel right. Anthony Perna, Tony, I might have missed it, but I was taught to measure toe with a tape measure and set the wheels 1/16 or 1/8 toed in. Is that no good? Well, here's the thing, okay? If you go by the alignment specs of an older car, okay, so let's say you look at the 1969 whatever, right? And here's the alignment specs, and it calls for, you know, an 1/8 inch toe in, or whatever it happens to be. That's what a bias tire. When you put a radial tire on it, it has different characteristics. So the alignment specs for a radial tire car, the original ones, are going to be different if you put it.
Yeah, you need a little less on a radial, because radials by themselves will roll. Bias plies like the go where they are told.
Yeah. Rocco, Tony, I should mention that zero toe is good on an XJ with worn tires if you want to avoid wobble.
Okay.
Okay. Boy, we just totally, I just zoned out, bro. I just zoned out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jimmy Luce, did bias ply tires run the same air pressure as radials do today? Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
32 pounds was like the standard. Like, you know, when back in the day, let's say a customer would bring a car in and you go through it, you know, where you mount tires or whatever, it's just automatically 32 pounds. That was the number for decades. I have no idea what it is these days.
Scott, this is a good story. Scott Martinelli. My grandpa worked at a dealership in New York City in the 70s. He bought my uncle's 1969 Mach 1 at Rice Automotive in Manhasset in 1977 for $600, because that's what you could buy them for in the 70s. I've got the car now, and uncle died in 2017.
Fubar put up the link. Oh, here we go. Okay. Fubar put up the link to my merch.
Nice.
Yes. This is internal combustion.
Internal combustion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Fubar. And then, of course, Dr. Art's stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oscar Gonzalez. I start my Crown Vic and it smells like burned oil for about 10 seconds and clears up. What's happening? Valve guides. Your valve guides or the seals. Mm. The seals are gone and the guides are sloppy enough to let oil drip down. And for the first couple of seconds that it's running,
it burns off and you're good.
Michael S. After I shut the motor off when hot, my 396 L78 sounds like gas boiling in the car. Holly, what could the issue be?
The gas boiling in the carburetor. Yeah, we talk about this a lot, but today's gasoline is not the same as the gasoline from the 70s. Back then, it had the anti-boil and the anti-vapor and stuff like that. So the same thing when you park that 396 in your garage and you close the garage door and you go out there in the next morning, your whole garage smells like gas.
Yep.
The same reason. It's just the difference in the fuel.
And the ethanol only aggravates that situation.
Right. So it's really nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong. What you need to do is throw like an isolator, like a gasket or a heat shield underneath the carburetor should help somewhat, but it's not a, you know what I mean? It's not a bottom line, you know, a permanent.
It's just
something we learn to deal with. You have to remember that when you shut the car off, the temperature in the engine goes up. A lot of people don't realize that too. So let's say you're running at 180 degrees and you shut the engine off, the temperature will go up to 200, 210, 220, right? Because you got a couple of factors going on there. First, the coolant stops circulating. And when the coolant stops circulating, it stops absorbing the heat from, it stops sucking the heat from the block. So that's one reason the temperature goes up. And then the other reason that the fan is no longer blowing on the engine. Because people think that the fan is only to pull air through the radiator, but it also blows air around the engine and wicks the heat away from the exhaust and you know, just the external surfaces. So when you shut the car off, the temperature is going to rise 20, 30, 40 degrees. So it may not be at boiling temperature when the engine is running, but when you shut it off, within a minute or two, it will be.
Yeah, the engine gets hotter and the engine bay gets hotter also.
Yeah. It's like I see a lot of guys with street cars and they'll use just an electric water pump without any sort of, without a fan, just turning the fan on when the temperature goes up. But that belt-driven water pump with a fan on a street car actually serves a purpose. It's cooling the outside of the motor. Rusto Guy 1, UTG, pros and cons between carb and fuel injected aftermarket. Factory fuel injected is better than carbureted, with the exception of the complications involved in it. So I err towards carbureted when possible, factory fuel injection when, I mean, I don't have any problem with it, right? Aftermarket fuel injection, I have no good opinions on it, but he loves them. Not only does he love them,
I sell them.
he sells them. It's like we're the opposite side. We're completely
Oscar and Felix.
Opposites of each other.
So what are you putting it on? What do you need it for? And what do you want to get out of it? If it's just a Sunday cruiser that you're going to take out on nice days and stuff like that, leave the carburetor on it. You know, if you're going to daily drive it, it's going to be just a daily driver and you got to go 45 hours of work every day, the factory fuel injection is best. You know, if you got some crazy engine combination and you don't really want to tune it, and maybe you put a turbo or something on it, you slap on a aftermarket EFI and it's boost ready and you're going down the road.
That's a fairly fair. Yeah.
It just depends what you want to use it for. I suggest you just go to my website and buy the ACES fuel injection and put it on and then let us know how it
There
went.
you go.
Yeah.
He's saying this is for roasting tires. Oh, okay. So all right. So that's an important distinction because, all right, but do you want to just roast tires in general going in a straight line? Because if that's the case, anything will do it. Do you want to do donut like burnout competition type of stuff?
Spin around in circles.
Spin around in circles.
Then you need fuel injection.
Carnitas says a Holly 670 enough carb for a 318 mild build with about 350 400 horsepower. That is not a mild.
That's not a mild 318. That's a stout 318.
Yes, and no, the 670 I don't believe is going to be big enough if that's your goal.
And you're in the 750 range.
Yeah, you want to be in the 750 range for that. Let's see. Speed and Demon. Tony, Can you make a video on the Dodge TBI to carb swap for the 318 360, please? No, I can't. I don't do Mopar specific videos unless it's a history sort of thing. Okay, I don't do Mopar specific how-tos. And for the reason for that is because there's just like half my viewers are Mopar guys, and then the other half are like general car guys. So if I do just a specific Mopar tech thing, right, pinpointed tech like that, it won't get views. It won't get enough views to keep the algorithm happy. Because when you do this business, you're a slave to the YouTube algorithm. You have to get X amount of views in X amount of time, or they penalize you. I'm going through that right now. I'm down, God, almost 300,000 views right now because I veered off track and I displeased the gods.
The
So I'm
YouTube
fighting
gods.
my way back in, right? So I try to always stay away from specific Mopar things. I'll do general concepts that can be applied across to every make and use Mopars to illustrate it. Does that make any sense? And I do Mopar history stuff, but not Mopar tech, specific tech. Jamie at Dead Dodge Garage, on the other hand, does very specific Mopar tech. And if you ask him to do that video, I will guarantee he's either done it already or he would be happy to do it. Jason Powell, thank you for the super chat. Love the Jeep build. With the HP it makes, have you thought about a Civic radiator and block off the rest or Ram Air? Just thought outside. I like the idea of the build. No, there's no reason for me to put a Civic radiator. The one that's in there works just fine. And the Ram Air, I did a cold air system for it. If you go back last week, I did a video where I plumbed the air intake into the cowl. So yeah, it's already, it makes a difference. It sounds awesome. It sounds awesome from sitting inside the car. And then just today, I sawzalled the rest of the exhaust system off the thing. So let's just get a cherry bomb hanging on it. It sounds bitchin'. It just sounds bitchin'. Charlton Zimmerman, when the Scuba Gear review, changing intro rubber. Well, Dr. Art is a Scuba Gear aficionado, going way back to the late 60s.
Way back.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like 3, and then I'm diving with sharks.
Yeah, so you want to talk about the things that make the bubbles come out, and yeah, this is the guy.
Vintage Scuba Gear.
Classic Scuba Gear. Yes. Collector Scuba Gear. It's a world, man.
Forget that safety and new technology. You got to go with the old stuff. Adds a challenge to your life.
Yeah. Greg Avila, have you guys ever worked on or have a Chevy Crossfire injection? I worked on 1 or 2 of them way back when, and they ended up getting ditched in favor of a 4-barrel carburetor.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, it's the same thing. They're in the same garbage can as a lot of other stuff.
Yes.
If they can run, and when they do, they're okay. But for 10 volts and a garbage can and a swap meet intake and carb, you're much better off. Or you can just put a fuel injection on it.
Russ Peter is saying Tony doesn't scuba because it makes the cigarettes go out. No, I don't scuba because I don't get any need of water. That's crazy. People going to water is just absolutely nuts. Let's see. Young Son, is it true if you remove the EGR on an engine, it will last longer? No.
No.
No, it has nothing to do with longevity. 72Z28, I like looking at the water, but I don't like being in on it. I'm
not much for the weird parts of the ocean.
There's stuff, man.
It'll eat you.
You don't stand a chance. Like you don't stand a chance.
I like swimming in my backyard in the pool. There's no alligators. There's no sea serpents. There's no fish feces.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sharks are sneaky. They're pros, bro. They're pros. This is what they do.
Yeah. Sea serpents, yes. Yeah, if you've seen enough shit down there, you're like, whoa, I don't know what that is. I gotta go.
Ross Peter Derelicts. would there be any reason to do the backyard wind tunnel testing with yarn and tape on the Jeep? Yes, down the road, absolutely. Right now, I'm just focusing on getting the engine and the tune and all of that to work as good as possible, right? Get as much weight out of it as possible. I am certain that once we get to certain barriers, that we'll be looking at aero on that thing.
Lower it. Get it on the wind. Put the dam on the front.
Well, I'm definitely an air dam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's going to need an air dam. I'm not going to lower because then it'll wreck the illusion. It looks like a stock Jeep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to just slam it. And I was like, well, it's not stock.
No, it just looks like a stock Jeep that somebody stole the cat off of.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Rob's Classics. Your Jeep piping got me thinking, what about putting spaces on the back of the hood and plumbing the car under the hood to the carb? It would be like a poor man's cowl induction, right?
That's what you got now.
Yeah, I've already got cowl induction in the cowl, right? Actually in the cowl. You're talking about turning it. So here's the thing with that, okay? It has to be, there's science to this now, right? Because one of the things we used to do in the ancient times was to jack the back of the hood up, right? You take the rubber seal out, like every hood's going to have a rubber seal between the hood and the cowl. So when it's closed, minimizing the water that gets in there. So one of the things we would do is pull the rubber seal out. If there's any like rib or anything close to that, bash it up with a hammer, and then jack the hood up as high as it will go. And the reason for that would be to get any trapped air that comes through the grill and piles up against the firewall, give it a place to escape. But then you've also got the air coming in from the windshield. So you could end up with just a standoff over there. That's where aero really comes in. If you really want to understand what's going on any particular car at any speed, that's where you would start with the yarn and the tape to figure out, well, because it changes. The boundary layer changes, airflow direction changes, all these things change depending on the speed of the car and what the car is doing to the air in front of it. Garlitz back in 1985, 84, back in 84, noticed that when he was driving the car through grease sweep, okay, the dragster, if there was, let's say there was grease sweep at the top end of the track, he noticed that the car would start moving the grease sweep like 20 feet before it got to it, because the car was actually piling up wind in front of itself. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, right? And that's where when he was playing around with the little wheels and that spoon over the nose that he had to blow over with, that was the result of that. And he says, well, if the big wheels and the wing we've got in the front now is pushing the air 20 feet in front of the car, that's slowing us down. But the same thing is happening, like with your car. The faster you go, the more farther forward it disturbs the air, and that air does different things when it hits the car. So there is no one specific set of arrows that work across the board. You have to focus on a specific speed and then work, you have to have a goal in mind before you just start throwing random arrows at a car. The one thing that always helps, what Dr. Art just said, is an air dam, because you never want to have air going under the car. Air going under the car, forget about creating lift at higher speeds, making it unstable. But air going under the car catches all the stuff that's under there, and it slows you down. It's like a brake. It's like an air brake. So an air dam shoves it out of the way, and you lose a little aero from the resistance against the dam, but it's less than you lose by the air grabbing the suspension pieces and the drive shaft and the tunnel and everything else. Does that make any sense? Did I explain that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's the way my engineer's buddy explained it to me, it makes all the sense in the world. If you have at 50 miles an hour, just for using round numbers, you're pushing X amount of air. Well, at 100, you would think you're pushing twice as much air,
Oh, no.
but you're not. But the air it cubes as you go higher.
It's exponential.
Yeah, so it just goes way off the chart. So that's why basically you get a lot better mileage at 45 than at 75. It's not that you're more engine RPM. You're using that much more effort to push all that air out of the car's way.
Think of it this way, right? Let's say you got a car that runs 100 mile an hour, quarter mile ETs, right? And you add 20 horsepower to it. You're going to go 105. You're going to go 106. There's going to be substantial gain, right? Now, if the car goes 150 and you add 20 horsepower, you don't see anything, right? It doesn't exist, right? You need to add like 200 horsepower to see, well, not quite. At 150 miles an hour, you probably have to add about 50 to 79 horsepower to see a substantial gain of mile an hour. You get out to, let's say, 250 to 300 miles an hour. To pick up a mile an hour is like another 800 horsepower. Because that air resistance, the faster you go, the resistance is square rooting itself. Josh Holman, the XJ strikes me as having almost the aerodynamics of a brick wall. Here's the thing. It has a blunt frontal area, right? It's punching a pretty big hole in the wind with that big frontal area. And because of that, a lot of the unaero parts of it kind of are disappearing. Does that make any sense? Picture like a what am I looking?
You're squirting a water hose at a fence post.
Yeah. Okay.
And the water's going up and over and around.
Right.
Yeah, because air doesn't see you have to get the whole combination. The air just doesn't see the flatness of the grille and the headlights. It sees the flatness of the grille and the headlights and the swoop of the hood and the windshield and the mirrors and the whole vehicle. So it's a little more complicated.
Resto guy, UTG. I got another aero story to tell you.
Okay.
UTG, do you think it would be smart to go to your local big city at 2 a.m. and shred tires? Thoughts? Go for it.
It's fun.
Oh, please, yes. I'd love to go get involved in one of them takeovers. That would be so much fun.
Just ask them.
So when we had the top fuel car, I was learning a lot about aero at the time, right? Because of the wings, and the wings are very important on those cars. But I was always focusing on the top part, the air that went over the top. Okay, so we had a crack. We developed a crack in the fuel tank. The fuel tank. The fuel tank is mounted just in front of the driver's feet. Okay, so midway between the roll cage and the front axle.
Okay.
All right. So we developed a crack. And the crack was at the top of the tank. So just sitting there, they wouldn't shut us off on the starting line, but as you go around down the track, it would start spraying fuel out. Well, what I noticed, we had just had all of the tins painted on the car. And what I noticed was the marks from the nitro, because the nitro affects the paint, were running forward from the tank.
Okay.
So in other words, you're expecting that as you're going this way, fuel that came out from under the car would come this way, right? But that's not what we found. We found that the car's going this way, but the fuel that came out here was migrating forward towards the front of the car. So you had an aerodynamic situation where the air going over the front, over the top of the car was moving in the direction you would expect. But at some point, that air turned around under the car and started going forward. We wouldn't have found that if the car didn't have a leak.
Okay.
So that was an interesting thing. And I think that phenomenon probably happens at much higher speeds. Like, I don't think you're going to see it at like 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour.
No, but it does happen.
You do see it.
And if you go back into like the Shelby Daytona coupes, where the back,
The cam-back.
Yeah, the cam back, but the back was also convex.
Yes.
So the air would go away instead of, if it was a big round boat tail, it, like you said, it just gets sucked right back.
Well, that's like the diving board spoilers that they use. It's to break up that swirl that happens at the back of the car and
Mhm.
actually create a downforce. Let's see. Eddie Marshall was talking about, what about the vacuum behind the vehicle? Well, that's what we were just talking about. Like the diving board spoilers are there to turn that vacuum behind the car into downforce. Let's see. Remember the time Dodge put a Lamborghini motor in the '89 Daytona? Oh, that rings a bell. I don't remember the specifics, but yeah, now that you say it, but I don't remember any of the details of it. Have you ever seen an AMX3?
May have. It rings a bell, but I couldn't tell you who made it or was it.
Have any of you guys ever seen the AMX3? Because this is something that I may have known about a little bit way back in the past, but I'm just seeing videos popping up on my for some reason.
If they just pop up, yeah.
It was AMX3 is gorgeous. Okay, so you guys know about it, right? So this was going to be a production car, right? And AMC had one of the studios in Italy design this car, and they built 5 or 6 of them or something like that. And but it never went into production.
Okay.
They showed it at car. They showed it at shows. It never went into regular production, but a few of them actually found their way into private hands.
And collectors.
And I just watched a video last night about these 2 guys who were businessmen, and they heard that there were these 2. This is when they were brand new. That there were these 2 AMX3s in Italy that it's not going to be imported to the States for whatever reason. So they bought them and they shipped them over themselves, and they actually had these things tagged as regular daily drivers. Okay. Let me show you a picture. Hang on. Let me get a picture of this. It's a cool car. It was a rear engine, 360.
It's an Amex version of the Pantera.
Yeah.
Abel, do thanks for triggering my inner hoarder for vintage Land Rover parts with your $40 marketplace find.
Oh, that bronze one's gorgeous. Holy shit.
Well, it does look like a Pantera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me. I gotta show you guys. I gotta. What it looks like. Huh? So if you guys have never seen one, that's an AMX3. That is just absolutely crazy looking. It had a 360 and a transaxle that was based off of a tank, from a tank. DC was saying the gearbox was Borg Warner. No, it wasn't Borg Warner. Because I watched the whole thing just about that the transmission on it, the transaxle on it, and it was not the Borg Warner. It was it was actually was it an Italian? I don't know. It was a tank. It actually had a military application. The transaxle that they put in these things, and the rear suspension. It had a coil-over rear suspension, but it had 2 coils at each wheel. And it was 4-wheel disc brake, but it had 6 disc brakes. It had
inners?
2 at the fronts and then a pair at each rear.
Were they inners on the rear or just stacked at the rear?
Stacked at the rear, just normal, right?
Yeah.
But 2 calipers instead of 1.
Oh, okay, not 2 rotors, 2 calipers, just 2 calipers.
A rotor on each side, conventional.
Okay.
A rotor and a caliper on each side with an extra caliper.
Okay.
So because you had all of that weight of the engine and the transaxle
In the back.
So
Yeah.
they doubled up on the coil springs and they doubled up on the brakes in the back. Which I thought it was just the neatest thing. I was geeking out over this thing last night. Yes, Zero just put up a link there, AMC3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, Zero's put up all kinds of links for the AMX3. Justin Billington, 73 Plymouth Satellite. Will a transnout with a loose spool bushing cause a vibration from off idle up in the RPM range? It's park neutral, vibration dampened when power braking too. No, generally no. No, the loose spool won't do it, but a worn tail shaft bushing will. A worn tail shaft bushing. Okay, so your possibilities there are a loose front U joint, a sloppy tail shaft bushing,
Or could you just have a blown out ass mount and it's
no. It caused a little bit of an alignment issue, but not enough to really upset the geometry. No more. Okay, so your alignment issue with the sloppy with the bad transmission mount wouldn't be any more movement to the drive shaft than just going over a bump, right? Or going around a turn where the suspension goes one way and the other. So the loose mount at the front wouldn't create any more of an angle to the drive shaft than normal maneuvering of the car. So take that out of the equation. Not saying that you shouldn't fix it, obviously, right? But your three major causes of driveline vibration are bad front U joint, sloppy tail shaft bushing, or not enough engagement of the yoke. So you'll see a lot of people mix and match drive shafts and so on and so forth, and the drive shaft doesn't have quite enough engagement on there, and so it doesn't sit on it's not stabilized by the output shaft, and it'll vibrate and stuff like that. Fun with cars. I want to rest up my Rambler with a Subaru Impreza WRX in the winter. That's actually pretty cool, man. Jordan, in high school, I had a 65 Rambler American Four-door that we stuffed a 327 Chevy in a close ratio Muncie 4-speed and would have blasted red lights. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Those are super light cars, man. That was like a 2,700 pound car. It died.
Died?
Yeah. I think it was my shaky story. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're growing.
But nobody likes us, bro.
It's just
no.
It's not. I mean, it's barely half, and that's just the people in the, not including the people I've been in and out.
This crushes my ego. You don't know. I cry. I cry all the way home. I'm like, they don't love me anymore. It's terrible.
Kathy told me you come home when you're a wreck.
I'm a wreck. I go home and I'm a wreck. Exactly.
She has to feed you pasta and ice cream. And
I look all like I've got it together here now. Okay. But I fall apart on the way home. It's you know what it is? It's the tears of the clown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No likes.
No
all
likes.
Right, that's fine. Let's be brave.
Okay.
Okay. Chris Fumesser. Oh, resto guy. Have fun, man. Got to pull a boat in the morning. Oh, you tugboat guy? Excellent.
Where was okay, Benjamin Patterson. Go back to here. I'm a younger guy, never owned or messed with a carburetor car with a distributor. Just bought a 49 Chevy 3800 with a 1954 235 engine in it. Someone I truck.
And
who has a lot more experience.
I'm not sure what he's saying.
Yeah. It means he's got a
It's got a stove bolt.
You got a stove bolt with a weird distributor and a 1-barrel carburetor. So it's not. Those are pretty easy ones to learn on, actually.
Yeah. Oh, someone more experienced than me recommended I install a distributor with points. Thoughts? What distributor did you have in it, Ben? I mean, I'm crying. I never want to mess with a carburetor. I just bought a 49 shirt. Ben, I don't know what you're talking about because the original distributor that's in that has points. I'll watch for your response. And Zero, the ever helpful and effervescent Zero, put up a link to your channel, Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab.
And they should all go there because I'm like this close. Can you see this? This close to 8,000 subs. And I would have them if I wasn't lazy this month. My fault.
Guys, come on, go over there and sub.
Just watch a short. I put up a nice one today. I was over in Franklin. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
And then put a real nice 57 Chevy on for a short. Go watch that. No harm. Hit the sub button.
End of time, you need more Ford content to attract the weirdos. You've got weirdo Ford content.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got lots of Ford content. I got 4.6 timing chains and Falcons and Rangers and all kinds of stuff over there.
Eric's Garage, do 904s bolt like the 727? No, they don't have that same. No, but I can't give you the exact reason why. I'm not a transmission guy, but no, they're not. They don't blow up the same way as the 727s do. You might want to ask John Cope that. And Fubar just put up a link to my merch at UncleTony'sGarage.com. And Kathy Bananas is home just cranking out shirts from the last order that she big order that came through. So, but she keep her busy. If she's busy, she's out of trouble. It means that she won't beat me, because that happens. Domestic violence.
You got to keep them busy because idle hands means they're smacking you with a rolling pin.
This is what I'm saying, exactly. And then Dr. Art's merch featuring the new Big Richard shirt. It's your turn.
They're even better on
Proving once and for all that life is better with a Big Richard.
Yes.
Anthony Perna, how can I detect detonation if I can't hear it? You can't hear most detonation. I have glass packs that exit right by my doors. My exhaust is so loud, I didn't hear my motor detonating. I ended up cracking the head and piston. Oof. Geez, I don't know, man. I mean, what would you tell them?
Well, put an exhaust on it and then pull up plugs and see if you got any transfer.
Yeah.
And if you get any transfer after you got it hot and you're running on it and stuff like that, back the timing down because that aluminum is going to transfer out to that spark plug strap.
Yeah.
That's a sure sign of detonation if you can't hear it.
Oh, okay. All right, Benjamin is saying, I have the stock distributor. I don't know what I'm talking about. Honestly, that's okay. That's what we're here for. I'm still doing research and learning. That's what I was recommended. I will have to open up and take a look. Because
that should be points. And then at Stove Bolt, they have a real weird advance thing that's different. When the base moves.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because the internals don't move, the cap moves when it advances.
Right.
So that's a little weird, a little different than the rest of this stuff, but that's a good engine to learn on because rebuilding the carburetor is pretty easy. Going into that distributor and putting points in and setting them with a feeler gauge and stuff like that, all the real basic stuff is very easy on that engine.
Honestly, Ben, the best way to learn is just find whatever is stock and original to that setup and make it work as best as you can. And as you're doing that, you'll start to learn about all the other stuff. RWP, Uncle Tony's Garage. If you had to drag race with a stick shift, what transmission would you use? What kind of racing are we talking about? Because you've got a whole range of different types of racing and a whole range of different types of transmissions. So Benjamin, thank you very much, guys. Thank you, bro. Thanks for joining the conversation. Greg Avila, street drag. Yes. Crashes Roadrunner Garage. Need a deal on hats. You got to talk to Kathy Bananas about that.
Okay, Anthony, the block has provisions for knock sensors. Is there anything I can hook up to read it? What year and kind of block and stuff like you have on it? What motor are you talking about? A little bit better idea.
All right, let's see. Well, the 20 Art Gold is on a crazy uphill value in the market, and that's not crazy yet. Still think a $1,200 Rusty Gold will give you a faster returns in investment. Thoughts?
Faster return.
So, if you're a trader, or I'm going to say you're a trader, I don't think of gold as an investment. I never did. Silver, that's not an investment. I think of it as insurance. All right, it's insurance against inflation. And it's gold is not going up; it's only doing its job, and it's actually underperforming because based on the amount of new money being brought to the brought to reality from nothing, gold is actually underperforming by, and this is not an exaggeration, okay, thousands of %. All right, and based on silver and the silver to gold ratio and the money that's being brought into the presence, silver is actually underperforming by tens of thousands of %. And this isn't my opinion. This is just math. This is the amount of dollars, currently in existence in digital form and shit like that versus ounces of physical metal that can be traded. So that's how you have to look at it. Gold is not going up like crazy. Gold is just kind of going up, but it's nowhere near performing its optimum job at this point. Now, the metal, you're talking about a $1,200 car. Yes, that will give you quicker and better returns on an investment. So I don't really, but as an insurance policy, nothing is better than gold at this stage of the game. You're not going to believe. You're just not going to believe the numbers that are coming.
Anthony Perna said it's a 94 Ford 300 with off a 4-barrel and a Duraspark, and the ECM's been removed. So I don't know any other way to hook up a knock sensor in a knock sensor hole without a computer on it.
Well, the knock sensor is a very simple device that isn't going to give you a signal that you can. The knock sensor's only purpose is to tell the computer to back off on timing, right? That's what it does. You can put a knock sensor in it, but there's no way to really use a knock sensor as a gauge to tell you, oh, it's detonating until you take your foot out of it. I imagine there would be. I guess
you could build some kind of box that reads the signal, and when it happens, you can make a light turn on, but you need some guy to build it for you.
Yes. Could you build something like that? There's a business for you, bro.
For ECM delete 300 Fords, yeah.
Well, no, just anything with an accelerator pump, a knock sensor on there.
Possibly. I don't know. I'd have to look at that. I got a lot going on right now, so.
Josh Homan, gold is insanely valued right now at $2,600 an ounce. That's insanely valued. Go look at what gold was in Germany during the Weimar Republic, during the hyperinflation. Okay, because at one point, okay, so January 1920, okay, there was a 13-month period during that the hyperinflation happened. Okay. Gold, the exchange rate for gold at the beginning of the hyperinflation was 419 marks per ounce of gold. So think of the mark as an equivalent to the dollar, right? I started buying gold back in late 1990s at $400 an ounce. Actually $250 an ounce, but that's besides the point. The hyperinflation started with gold at 419 marks per ounce of gold. 13 months later, they stopped counting when it reached 1 quadrillion marks per ounce of gold. Right now, I'm not making this up. This is history. This is, you can go find this yourself. Right, went from 419 marks per ounce of gold to 1 quadrillion marks per ounce of gold. That was the textbook hyperinflation. So if you think gold is insanely priced right now, dude, you're gonna spin around and puke when you see it start to actually take its place, its rightful place in the currency world.
There was a question back here. Scott Martinelli bought a 57 Bel Air wagon with a 283 and I think automatic. Okay. Transit system would you use? I have an Aces kit. What's your experience with them?
He's a dealer.
Yeah, the dealer for Aces. So I'm going to give you a very biased opinion that you should use that. And what trans? I mean, it's probably a power glide in it, I would think, right? If it's just as a random guess from here to the 57 Chevy.
It could be a turbo glide.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's an automatic. You know, Scott.
I'd like to take the money, Scott. If you bought a car and you think it's got an automatic,
yeah.
But just kidding with you. Does it run and drive?
Well, right back when you're pretty certain if it's an automatic or a manual transmission, and then we could probably.
And then what's its status? Yeah, is it running and driving, or did you buy it in a basket, or what's the story? Tap on the head. There you go.
Let's see. Let's see. Plex Link ECU and Tuner Nerd make aftermarket knock detection. Oh, RWP. Plex Link ECU and Tuner Nerd make aftermarket knock detection stuff. Excellent. Thank you. That's why.
That's when the people are the champions.
Yep. So anybody who's interested in that, Plex Link ECU and Tuner Nerd. Let's see. It's not for 25 years. I don't know. I'm trying to count. You, Jordan, is saying count the pedals. That's a good indication.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. Yes. But not always, because you never been a 4-speed car, so when you put an automatic in it, 30 years ago. Who knows? Oh no, it's set for 25 years. The 57 Chevy, it's set.
He's saying it might be 300 tree or converted auto natural. Oh, okay. So notice you haven't picked this car up yet. Then you're getting way ahead of yourself, right? Scott, I know we all want to build the stuff in our head before and I agree with that. Build it in your head before you actually spend the money and the time. But you're way ahead of yourself. Get it back and determine exactly what you have before you start.
And if it will run in its current condition.
Yes.
Because if it won't, then you're starting with a clean board. If you got a motor that runs and a trans that shifts, a project car that runs and drives is much more happy than one that's been in your garage for 11 years.
The holes. Uncle Tony, how about a technical question? I'm game.
Mm-hmm.
This is technical Fiesta, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about dropping an entire Holley 350 carburetor into a sonic cleaner. What do you think? I think it's a waste of time. So, yes, perhaps you'll clean passages that are partially clogged inside. But there are so many other failure points in a carburetor, a Holley carburetor that sits for any amount of time, that you're going to end up pulling the thing apart anyway to fix various leaks and gaskets and blah 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 blah. So you're pissing in the wind to just drop the whole carburetor in a, unless you want to make it visually nice looking first before you tear it apart. That's fine. But yeah,
if you take it apart, throw all the parts in a sonic cleaner, yes.
Yes.
But on those Holly 350s, where the passages where it comes up and goes into the boosters and stuff, those always clog up and go bad. So you need to take it all apart and clean it, blow it out, and do it. Yeah. The sonic cleaner is good for getting it clean, but you still need to go through it part by part and blow it out and make sure it's perfect before you.
And all your Holly carburetors are prone to throttle body warpage. So that's the other, you got to take them apart just to make sure that the surfaces are flat, and file them if necessary. And we did a whole video on that. But yeah, take it apart. No shortcuts with that. Let's see. Aluminum needs a non-caustic cleaner. Well, Sonic is non-caustic.
Yeah.
Rust-beater derelicts kind of surprised me how often the throttle plates and metering blocks warp on a Holly. No lie. And you know the funny thing is, the metering blocks tend to be straighter than the throttle bodies. You know what I'm saying? It's like you'll find slightly warped metering blocks here or there, but the damn throttle bodies, man, I've seen some crazy warpage on those. Some
twisted ones, and if you don't straighten it out, you'll just chase that thing forever and end up throwing it away. And it just needs a little bit of work.
Yep. Raymond Cabal, draw filing, Holly bases, time well wasted. No, I don't know about that, bro. I've saved many. I've saved an uncountable number of carburetors over the last 48 years, however long it's been. Scott Martinelli, thank you guys for doing chats like this. It really brings back the memories of the old neighbors down the street with project cars and open garage doors on Friday nights when you could pick their brains. Well, this is the new version of that, man. This is the new version of that. But thank you for joining us.
Yes,
thank you for contributing.
It's more important that you're here than we're here.
Actually. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, George Nemec. Another technical question for you. What is your opinion of running a thermal quad on a new big block build using square bore to spread bore adapter plates? Would it affect the distribution of airflow?
No, you're fine. The taper on those adapters is it takes care of. You'll be fine. So this one you might be able to answer because there is something, and it's an external cue, but I don't remember what it is. Scott Anderson, can you tell if an engine is a 2-bolt or 4-bolt main without taking the oil pan off? He's talking about a small block Chevy. Yes, there is, but I don't remember what it is. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the 010 Chevy 350s. I just had one of these that I sold.
Okay, without looking at numbers, there's a way to tell. Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay, wait.
No, you're right.
Wait, is it, okay, right. Is it a pipe plug someplace in the vicinity of the oil filter pad?
Something like that, yeah.
Is that right? Who knows small block Chevys? Is that right? Can you tell the difference between 2-bolt and 4-bolt by the presence of
that little square head pipe plug on
a pipe plug by the oil filter pad? Let's see. O&O is always 4-bolt.
Not always, but most of the time.
Okay, well, I'm saying that's what he's saying. I wouldn't know.
Mm.
Dean Stevens says another 8 minutes and he's legal to drive again. Congratulations, Dean.
He's got his Thursday at 5 o'clock in New Zealand. His suspension expires apparently.
Let's see. Mark Survey, I always went with taking the pan off.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, that doesn't take that long.
You Jordan never heard of the pipe plug thing? Somebody Google that. Will you? Somebody Google that. Alvin Handsome is saying nope, no way to tell for sure. Oh God, keep them going.
Okay. They're all talking. Let's see here. Yeah, 360s turn into 390s when they're up for sale magically. EZD PFT bought an ABS 4150 and put it on my 1968 Electra, and wow. Used the Harley Carb videos to get it really tuned in as good as I could, from boring car to really a fun car to drive. It was a 68 Electra, so it's a big block and it's a lot of cars, so the right carburetor will make a huge difference over a quadra choke. Anything?
How do I identify a small block Chevy in 60 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Mystery.
Raymond Cabell, the mechanics I worked with, would run across the odd 354 bolt in handy transit buses. Yeah. That's like I got a buddy up in Wisconsin that works for UPS, and the UPS trucks with the gas engines have the Godzilla motors in them.
All right.
Yeah. And he's always pulling them out. I'm like, just send me one. They're all that good gas 730.
Okay, I was wrong. I don't see any reference. Yeah, no. Chalk that one up for the long. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, we already covered that.
Yeah.
Pyrocrensis. Question for Dr. Art. I'm looking into starting to tune my own vehicles. What software would you recommend and what hardware do I need? I mainly want to change shift points and lockup to start with.
What kind of vehicle is it? Because if it's a Chevy, Ford, or a Dodge, at HP tuners. If it's outside of that, if it's a Honda, Subaru, stuff like that, they have their own proprietary stuff. So it's, and if it's Toyota or stuff like that, they have their own kind of brands. But what are you tuning on? I myself use HP tuners because that's mostly what I do, is domestic stuff. But yeah, what are you trying to get into? Because not all systems work on all cars.
Remy Kushner, trying to decide between an AFB and a Holly versus VS for my daily driver 360. What do you guys think and what size? Daily driver, AFB. Carter and Edelbrock, AFB. Yeah, no question. For a daily driver, that's my answer for that. What size for 360? The 800. I would throw an 800 on there. 800 Edelbrock flows the same as like a 750 Holly, a little bit smaller. Or I would just go with the 800 Edelbrock. I have one on my 67 Charger. It's just the sweetest carburetor. Oops.
Benjamin Patterson, you guys have a Discord. I feel like it would be a great platform for like-minded people to talk about cars. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, this is why we're here.
This is our Discord. We don't. I don't have time to monitor a Discord.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We have too many other things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yes, the AVS2 is a great carb. Richard Stanberry, would I need a new bell housing to put a 318 in my 66 Barracuda? No, you would not.
Same.
Yeah, same bell housing. Put a 318 in your 66 Barracuda originally. All right, so what you need to be aware of is the pilot bushing or the pocket in the back of the crank that the converter fits into. The earlier one, that's 66, the 273, is going to have the slant 6 size. So you either have to get a larger converter, or you're going to have to, a larger hub, I should say, a converter with a larger hub to fit the 318 crank pocket, or you're going to have to, somebody sells adapters, like just an adapter ring. Well, you got one made.
Yeah, a little machine ring.
Yeah. But yeah, you are going to have a mismatch there. Look it up and you'll see what I'm talking about. Russ Peter Dedalix, Tony, you may have said it before, AX15 or MP3500 in the Jeep. The AX15 is a crazy good transmission. I have so much respect for it now. I have beaten the living snot out of
that thing.
I have abused that thing.
I have abused that thing.
Ways that are unimaginable, and it's just tight. The other day I was playing around, okay, just jam shifting it, all right, just freeloading the shifter, keeping my foot in it until it hit, because I had been like conventional power shifting it, right? So the other day out front over here, I was playing around with just jam shifting it, preloading the shifter towards second gear and waiting for the engine to hit the rev limiter. So when it hits the rev limiter, it relaxes a little bit, and shifting it that way. And I did it 2 or 3 times successfully. And then it went, and I says, oh my God, I killed this thing. Didn't even phase it. It's fine. The AX15 is just an amazing transmission. Bill McKeiska, why the love-hate relationship with the Quadrajet? Seems like a good design to me. They're fine. I have nothing against them. I just prefer the Edelbrocks, and I prefer Hollies. The Q-Jet has some drawbacks as far as like performance use. They're a little bit harder to work with. They have very limited fuel capacity. They're more prone to heat. They're not easy to just make quick changes with and stuff like that. But they're fine carburetors. I just prefer the Edelbrocks.
Yeah,
Edelbrocks
they're more misunderstood, the most misunderstood carburetor out there.
Yes. Let's see. Great minds unagreed. I don't know what they're agreeing about.
I don't know.
Scoop, I had a Hurst Ramrod in my Gremlin. It actually worked, but I prefer the normal Hurst shifters.
This Greg Sprung, he's talking about he can get his hands on a 71 340.
727? And yes. Yeah, the ball pattern is going to be the same. Nothing else is going to line up, but the ball pattern will be the same.
It was a 71. I got to go back here a little bit. 71 340 Duster, Dart Swinger.
Oh.
Not perfect, but You can get it for $500. I don't know what you're doing watching
Why
us.
would we even? Yeah.
Yeah, while you're watching us, go get it. Just for, if it's still in the parts off of it are worth 10 times that.
Russ Peter Derelict thought the main issue with the Q-Jet was the minimal float ball size. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a huge problem that affects every part of the fuel system. You need a high volume fuel system that's plumbed just right to keep a quadrijet happy. And then you've got the heat issue on top of that because you've got the centralized float ball. See, on any other carburetor on the Holly, I already did a video on this. On the Hollies, on the Carters, Edelbrocks, you've got airflow around the outside of the carburetor, which is where the float balls are. So you've always got heat being wicked away from the fuel supply. Now, on a quadrijet, the fuel supply is centered, and it's nothing but heat with no way to ever cool it off.
The fuel's a heat soak.
That's a problem. I mean, RWP, how do you keep mice and critters away from eating your wiring? I tell them, go away, mice and critters, go. Leave my wiring alone. And they do.
Or get 4 dogs and maybe a cat.
Or that.
Yeah.
Or that. KJ Kiley says they didn't make 340 darts in 71. You are wrong, KJ Kiley. They actually did. There was a dealership in Kanadistan that ordered and sold 1971 and 1972 340 swingers. I don't remember the exact numbers, but there is somewhere between like 50 and 100 cars for each year. So yes, they actually did exist.
And if he's got one of them for $500, he's
yeah, good deal.
Yeah, no matter what shape it's in. Dave's in Sandy hot sauce keeps mice away. Okay.
Greg Strong has one next door. I don't know what that means. Zero mice and critters. Meet my cat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could offer a home to a Haitian.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
They are
the cats.
They are
right, and all the ducks and things like that.
So not to get like off track, right? But I mean, like so we're car people, but we're people too, right? So now, obviously, right, I am completely against anybody eating somebody else's pets. Clearly, that's ridiculous, right? And you say, well, how can these people possibly lower themselves or be so crazy as to eat somebody's pets?
Depends where you live.
Well, I saw a video last night.
Okay.
From a news source, and not like from but in other words, it was a news thing showing in Haiti. Okay, so the reporter's walking around Haiti, and he's talking about the mud cookie industry. Okay, in Haiti, these people are so poor, all right, that they actually eat mud cookies. And it's like a cottage industry. These women make cookies. They make a batter out of dirt.
Okay.
Mud, clay, right?
Yeah.
They make a batter out of it. And then they make cookies, like a saucer, like shaped cookie. And they let it bake in the sun. And this is what the kids eat.
Well, it's better than nothing, I guess.
Well, the thing is, okay. Now, if you so there's the whole thing where there's videos of the Haitians in Ohio grabbing geese and ducks, and I've seen with the cat. Okay,
yeah.
So it's happening. You say, well, how are these people? How could you possibly do that? It's because they grow up eating mud cookies, dirt cookies.
Cats like highfalutin.
That's right, exactly.
I mean, you don't, and everyone's so shocked. But if you go back 150 years in America, they ate every pigeon, every rat,
Yes.
every freaking thing they can get their hands on. Here, it's just, we're just, used to McDonald's, and it's shocking they're eating the cats. Well, they shouldn't eat your pets, but people will eat stuff.
But that's not conspiracy, and it's not like a satire website or anything like that. This was a legit report, and this is what this village was eating. These kids, they showed these kids at school, and they're eating these mud cookies. So you say, well, now you're gonna take a population of these guys, and you're gonna drop them off in like America. Yeah, your pets are gonna disappear, but quick. And it's not that these are evil people trying to do evil things. It's that they grow up eating mud. So it's like, what do you expect, right? This is a bad thing. This is a really bad thing.
If you're growing up in Haiti and you've got the ability to capture yourself a cat, oh my God, you're feeding your family. It's just the way it is, and everyone's shocked by it, but that's just life.
Okay. Easy D PFT. Could anyone in the chat give me an opinion on this? The asking price is about $5,000, and looking for my second U.S. car to go for ice cream in. All right, I don't know what.
Yeah, Easy P. We missed something here. Because he had a question earlier, but I don't remember what it was.
No. Okay. Well, maybe somebody in the chat's already.
Yeah.
Dollar Breton. I bought the 64 D200 Slant 6 NP 435 two-wheel drive that's been transformed into a wood buggy with tracks. Well, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. The differential looks like an Eaton HO52. I'm not familiar with them. Hanger bearing on the shift. You know if Dodge ever use this?
Doesn't sound like it, no.
Okay. Let's see. Haitians can't. And I just wanted to, just in case you guys didn't see this, or weren't aware of something, because I wasn't, and I was like, that's just unbelievable. Have a great one, Abel D.
See you, bud.
Let's see. Fun with cars. Ever see a pinion gear walk back into a carrier and cut gears into the car? Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Saw this on a GTO someone had rebuilt this week. Yeah. Anytime you get something with a wiped out pinion bearing, that's what you find.
Yeah, because it's going to get sucked in. it's
on deceleration. As soon as you let off, as soon as you let go of the gas, now the ring gear is trying to get sucked back into or the pinion is trying to get sucked
back into out the back cover. Yeah.
George Nemec, is there any more Slant 6 content in the works? Not right now, but yes, in the future, absolutely. This is interesting. Chris Freemesser.
I was just reading that. Yeah.
Yeah. Honda makes electrical tape that's impregnated with capsaicin to keep the mice away. Interesting. Capsaicin is the thing that's hot, right? Like chili peppers and stuff like that. The capsaicin is what burns. So yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's a good idea. Mice don't like mothballs or dryer sheets. What they want, soft, fluffy, pillowcases and stuff. Keys 220. I have a 68 Barracuda notchback with a 360 LA and automatic transmission, but want to go with a manual. What would be a good choice? Your simplest, easiest choice is an 833. An A-body 833. It's not going to be cheap. The conversion isn't going to be cheap. You're probably going to spend $1,500 to $2,000 by the time you're done with everything. And that 360 is going to need a special flywheel because it's externally balanced, unlike the other. Well, the cast crank 340s are externally balanced also, but the cast crank 360 is very externally balanced, so it takes a special flywheel. So and you have options for that, but just be aware. Yeah, that would be the easiest way. An 833 4-speed. You have any suggestions?
No, I just as long as you get the shifter off an A-body, so the shifter's not in the dash.
Yes.
And if you can get it, it's not an inland shifter. It's a good.
The wet noodle Fiesta gear.
Yeah, if you can get, the factory one with. It's made for an A-body and positions the shifter right. Should be pretty easy.
Recipe to Darlix, the exact opposite reason is why you never buy a 96 to 2008 Mercedes. They went green and used wire with an organic decomposing insulation. Ford did the same thing in the late 80s and the early 90s on certain models. And the Mark 7s were known for this, okay? The insulation was like a soy-based insulation, and it would literally just disintegrate. Like just driving down the road, it would just flake off and disintegrate.
And everything would all the smoke came out.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't use it on all of their models, only some of them. Like I know the Mustangs didn't get that.
And like all those German cars are bad, all those Mercedes and BMWs with their one-use aluminum screws and that held everything together. And
they're still pissed off over the war, bro.
I know.
They don't let go. They don't let go.
We are still angry.
Yeah. Look at the suspensions that they send over.
Well, yeah. I mean,
no reasonable people would do that. That's clearly
no. And that's and all the people that have these Chargers and Challengers, they got that. It's a Mercedes platform.
yes.
Suspension is with that stupid strut pushing front suspension, like on a.
Rocco saying first gen Dakotas use a stick behind the 318 that can be adapted, won't hold up to a lot of horsepower. Yeah, it's T5. Yeah. Yes, you can use a T5, but you're going to have to be doing some carving on your transmission tunnel because the shifter tower
that sits on top, yeah, it won't fit.
Yeah, the shifter tower when you put it all together, the shift tower is just above. Like you can make a hole and the shift tower fits up there, but there's the tube that leads to. You're going to cut the whole top of your transmission tunnel out and re-contour it to fit that transmission, so it's not jammed up against the floor. Hugh, you'll be suspended. Okay. Okay, Zero just put up a link to Louis C.K. on mud cookies from 15 years ago. Okay, I wasn't aware.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time I had seen anything like this, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like if you had told me before I saw it with my own eyes, I said, that's ridiculous. Nobody's eating mud cookies. No, these people live on mud cookies. Russ Peter Dogs is saying, yeah, my 2010 Challenger RT now has developed the dreaded Mercedes front suspension clunk in the front lower strut bar.
Yeah, those strut bar bushings, they just wear out. It's not that hard to replace them, but it's just it's an archaic system. Don't use a double wishbone on anything, and it's the same. I mean, since they went to that platform, 20 some years ago, they're all like that.
Zero is saying he's making a joke, but it's funny only because it's real. It being 15 years old only makes it funnier. Mm-hmm. And so it's like Sam Kennison, right? It was the funniest thing. You remember Sam Kennison?
Yeah.
Oh, he was the best. I'll still every once in a while I'll throw his stuff on. It's like 30 years old and I still fall out.
It's gold.
Oh, please, he was great.
Ow, ow.
Don't send them money. You don't need money. Don't send them buses. Send them U-Hauls. And tell them to go live where the food is. You live in a desert. Nothing grows here. Nothing ever will grow here. You live in a desert. Oh, he was the best, man. Scoop is saying jokes based on real life are the best. Well, you know, a lot of people don't realize it, right? But humor is always negative. Like there's you can no positive or conventional situation could ever lead to something funny, right? Humor is a reaction to a negative thing, right? We don't think of it that way, but think of a joke that's that's positive, and there's no such thing.
That's why you laugh at people when they fall down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
John Panetta's are the funniest. No, bro. Sam Kinison was the last word. When Sam Kinison died, so did comedy. Yeah, news crews bring a lot of equipment, but no sandwiches.
No sandwiches, yeah.
No, don't feed him yet. Don't feed him yet.
Yeah.
That's right. He bought the farm in a 1989 Turbo Trans Am.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question. Chance of cannonballs. Tony, did you ever look into that Jacobs coil and secondary unit you scored with your $40 purchase?
No, I've been busy with other stuff. I will. When I got some time, the winter's coming. I have plenty of time to sit around and ponder things.
That Jacobs stuff, was it the early 90s when that stuff came out?
No, the 80s. I remember Jacob sent me back in 87.
Was it that? Okay.
No, back in 86. 86. I had a Hemi Roadrunner, and Jacobs sent me a whole ignition system for that thing, which was basically like an early MSD. It was like pre-MSD.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it on there, but it didn't
do anything.
Difference. No, I had the stock ignition, and I put the whole Jacobs thing in, and it's just no difference.
It's nothing.
Exactly
Yeah.
the same.
They were good marketing, but.
All right, so the Zero just put a link to Dr. Art's channel. Look what time it is, Dr. Art. Dr. Art, what do we have to plug?
Go adopt a dog.
Yes, go adopt a dog.
It's
Always a good idea.
It always pays you like, no, go get a dog.
Yes.
Make your life better. Keep the squirrels out of your yard.
Yes. Always adopt dogs.
Mine does that when she's chasing squirrels. She does that. The deer leap.
Oh yeah, border collies, man. That's what they do.
Defy gravity.
Yep. I mean, a used one. Yes, buy a used dog.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
What about your channel? What about material content? What about that?
Hopefully, there's some coming this week. There's been like none for a couple weeks, and if anybody's been waiting for it, sorry.
You're laying low.
But just stuff happens, and you lay low, and
you're building demand. You're letting the demand.
Yes.
I hear you. I feel that, man. I got you.
So.
I'm just a YouTube war. I just throw everything at it.
But now things are much better than they were for the last few weeks.
Nice.
So
nice.
There'll be more content, and it's not 1,000 freaking degrees every day anymore.
Yes.
It's actually turned fall for a little while, so I'll be able to be in the garage. I've been in the garage a lot for the last week or so, and I filmed like 1 minute here, 2 minutes here. So there's stuff. It's all like blah, and I got to put together something nice. What the next video is going to be is me driving the truck out of the driveway around the block and back into the garage on the other side and up on the lift.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so am I.
Not that I can't just drive down a block and see it in person.
Right.
I'd much rather see it on video.
And I put the new torque thrust on today.
Nice.
On the front.
Nice.
But I fucked up a little bit.
What'd you do?
Because I wanted a 185 for the front, for the height and everything like that. I figured it looked good. So I go on to, I forget if it was Amazon or eBay, but I found a real cheap set of tires. And I wasn't paying attention, and I wanted 185/70s. I ordered 185/60s. So they're about an inch and a half shorter than I really wanted. They're to give you perspective, they're the exact same height of the tires that came off there, but now it's a 15-inch wheel instead of a 14-inch wheel. So it's still a little, yeah, I know.
Oh, you need trailer tires, man.
I just, no, I needed a little bit more height. So that's going to look a little wonky because the big tires on the back look nice.
Yeah.
The big tires in the back look real nice. The fronts are a little thick, but it does have kind of that Casper look. It kind of has this look to it, so it kind of fits the shirt with the big wheels and a little wheel in the front. So not so bad, but that's what I got. And just promotions. Go buy a shirt.
Yes.
Jesus, I go buy one or two, or just go. You can buy hats, you can buy stickers, you can buy something, or you can go buy a whole fuel injection set, which I'll give you a smoking deal on.
All right.
That's my plug, my shameless plug for my own well-being. How about you, Tony?
Nothing. I'm plugging nothing. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't care. I mean, I'll do something. Kathy's already overworked filling shirt orders. Make her work even harder. So Zero put up the link to Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab and Dr. Art's stuff.com for his merch.
Mm-hmm.
But our awesome mods.
Yeah,
right?
let's talk about the people that make it work.
Fubar Zero Mexican Spec. You guys, they're great.
They are, and they're like little. We are here. We'll protect you.
We gotta get together and do it live. It's been a while. I know Fubar is shy. Fubar doesn't want to be on, but I know you guys do. So we gotta get together soon, and make some plans to get to doing our live.
Put those guys on, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Everybody contributed with Super Chat. Thank you so much. Always appreciated. Never expected, but always appreciated. Everybody contributed with just your presence and your conversation. We are eternally grateful for you because you guys allow us to do this, and that's just the best job you could possibly have. Is this the best job you can have?
It's the best job you could do on a Wednesday night.
It's awesome, and we definitely owe it to you guys. Thank you. And so that's it, right?
That's it.
Sunday night, right? I got really nothing else to talk about till Sunday night.
Sunday night, yeah, there'd be no racing this weekend. We're getting a big hurricane, so
we're getting deluged.
Yeah, so We're actually getting rain that we've needed badly, but that means no racing. So
no drag racing.
Sunday night on your channel. Hopefully, I'll have something by Monday before the live. I'll be on live on Monday night again. I may go see the dogs tomorrow. It's been about 2 weeks, so.
He goes to the local shelter over here and he films dogs and he makes shorts showing the dogs. And I offered to pay for the adoption fees of anybody who wants to adopt a dog that Dr. Art, right? So keep that in mind. If you guys are local to Middle Tennessee, keep an eye on Dr. Art's channel. Like I said, he goes to the shelters and he features some of the dogs there. And if you do adopt a dog that Dr. Art features, I will pay whatever fees are there, whatever shots the thing needs, whatever, it's on me. So keep that in mind if you're in the Middle Tennessee area.
And there's everything there from German Shepherds to little pugs to
everything.
Everything you need. So
yes.
Yeah.
No shipping. No shipping on the dogs.
No.
All right. We're out of here, guys.
Hit the button.
Yes, I'm going to hit the button and make this stop. All right. And here it goes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.